at one point, my goal was to serve beginners and just get them started. I just want you to get started, do something, launch an idea. And then they would go and launch these ideas. And I realized I enjoyed the process of helping you take your idea to scale, right? More than I enjoyed the process of talking through a business idea, but as I'm now, years later, looking at the results and the numbers, I have way more testimonials and results from people who pay me $2,000 plus than I did from people who paid me $400, $200.
True.
Like just more people did more with the information. So sometimes it's not just about charge. My prices fluctuate based on data. And when I see that we're running a special for $9.97, but this group that we ran this special with from $9.97, nobody produced a result, nobody gave me a testimonial, take it back to $19.97. Because when I look at the numbers at $19.97 and I see that I have 30% of these people who have gone out to make six figures, this is the number. This is obviously the number that they need to pay in order to take it seriously enough to get the result. Yeah. Because I'm not just trying to sell a course. I want the testimonial. Facts. I want the bigger result. One, I want the result for you to go out and do what it was that my mission is set to do. But two, I have bigger things to do that I can't do if I can't show that you produced the result.
All right, welcome to another edition of the Social Proof Podcast. Donni is out of pocket this morning, but we're here, man. How's your week?
My week has been amazing.
That's what's up, Neo. How was your week, bro? Let me give one thing that you learned this week that you are going to implement.
One thing I learned this week I'm going to implement. I think I learned about having a family meeting. Start having a family meeting every week with my family. I've never done that before.
What y'all talking about?
AJ told me. He told me like kind of what's one thing you want to improve on this week as a family. It's like 3 other things. But the main thing is just having that conversation with us about how we going to get better and all of that stuff.
Solid. Okay. One thing you learned, you're going to implement.
It's interesting that you said AJ told you that because we've had that conversation.
You have too. I think you worded it in a different way though.
Yeah. It was a relationship management meeting.
Okay, so it's much different.
Yeah. You know. Anyway, shout out to AJ who told him to do. It's always the men who have to get told to do something by somebody else, by another man usually. Wow. Y'all just don't easily take the advice from women.
But I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that. I think it's like we all have our own tribe and we all have people that will listen to our particular voice. That's true. Right? And until that person comes along, like there's certain people that they're going through some really, really tough times. I can talk to that person through till I'm red in the face. You can, but it might be Joe that comes along and says the same exact thing, but that person resonates with that person.
Well, here's the thing too, Donni. So you gave it to me from perspective of just talking to my daughter alone. That's right? True. Now, AJ, when he gave it to me, he married to Coach Kelly 25 years. I'm like, what y'all do that? Yeah. He like, yo, you got to do the family meeting. I'm like, okay. So I listened to what you said with my daughter. I'm working on that too. But then when I heard it from there, it gave me this for the whole household now.
House. I love it. I love it. Yeah. Shout out to AJ for giving that dope advice. What did I learn? Yo, I've learned some pretty in your face lessons this week, but I think the biggest lesson is one that I'm constantly reminded of, and it's say what you mean and mean what you say.
Explain that.
Say what you mean and mean what you say. So we will verbally commit to a lot of things. Oh, if I, get this, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z with it. Or I'm committing to blah, 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 blah. And then you find yourself falling back into old habits, behaviors, and patterns that are contradictory to what it was that you said. So did you really mean that you said you were gonna, hit the gym 3 days a week? Did you really mean that you said you wanted to lose weight? Did you really mean that you were gonna have better habits and be a better person?
Or you're gonna be here at 10 o'clock?
Or that you're gonna be here at 10 o'clock, all those things. So say what you mean and mean what you say would probably summarize the lessons that I've learned this week.
Yeah, I'm big on that. That's why I don't tell people I'm gonna go to the gym.
You just show up and surprise
them. Well, when I do say it, I do it though. Also another thing, y'all tell me if I'm wrong. So I was having a conversation with somebody, and hopefully the person doesn't see this.
Everybody sees this. Shout out to the Social Proof Podcast having more than 1 million downloads in a month. Yeah. Everybody sees this.
Hey, we was at some event, right? we was at an event, and the guy was sharing like who he is, and it was like, man, since the podcast started, we got 500,000 downloads. It's been like 5 years, and she was like, cute. We did 1 million last month. Right. Just made his accomplishment just seem like nothing.
Right.
No way. When he said that, I sent it to you, but when he said that, Neo turned around like, I was like, yeah, it's cute. I mean, it's cute. Oh, in the last 5 years, you've got 500,000 downloads. Shout out to anybody who's getting 10 downloads a month on your podcast. It was just a moment that this guy is an multiple eight-figure entrepreneur. And sometimes you just think that people have like the golden touch and everything that they do is super successful. And we're looking up to these people trying to find the nuggets. And I'm like, wow. Probably give you some nuggets.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. So here's the story. So again, I'm just on this journey of, like you said, say what you mean, mean what you say, let your word be your bond, be like kind of upfront and honest and everything. And this lady, I'm just gonna make a long story short because maybe she won't realize I'm talking about her, but I was going through a loan process where, I'm trying to figure out how I can get a loan for this particular building. Mm-hmm. And she was like, all right, well, all you have to do is, for one, the interest rate was super high, but she said, well, you're going to have to say that this building is your primary residence. It was a house. It's a house. And I said, well, it's not my primary residence though. And she said, well, you just got to say it on the application. And I said, well, it's not my primary residence. I don't. She's like, well, it's going to be, your interest rate is going to be a little higher if they know it's an investment. And it was at that moment, I was like, dang, this person's super cool, but I can't work with her. It's like
integrity.
It's integrity. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying like she's a bad person.
Yeah.
It's just, I was just trying to explain to her like, yo, if I'm on a journey where I don't want to lie about anything. No big lies, no little white lies, nothing. Let me just say I'm on some. If you call me, I'm gonna say, hey, I'm on a line right now. Can I call you later? Instead of let me call you right back, because I'm not gonna call you right back.
That's
I know
fact.
myself.
You're not gonna text them back either.
You've experienced it too, Neo?
Oh, he's horrible. It just be the group. I'm like, bro, I'm trying to move something to the finish line. You just not responding.
Yo, I'm still waiting on that PayPal code from last night that I texted you about.
Good luck.
You know what? But the moral of the story is,
don't feel no
type of way. The phone number on the account today.
Moral of the story is, I never told y'all I'd text you right back or I was going to send you that number. But you know what? But by the time I saw it, it was late.
Send it to her now.
No. That's what I'm saying. It was late. It was going to be expired anyway. But I should have. First off, you're worse texting me back than let's just stay focused, okay, on the message. You're way worse than getting at me.
I didn't say I wasn't.
See? But as long as, I think it's okay to have an inefficiency in an area, but you got to own it.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think maybe, this is what you should do. When you say I'm going to be here at a certain time, just say I'm going to be here at a certain time. I may be a little late, and that'll like cover your.
I was on time, so I don't have to say that.
What time are you supposed to be here?
10 o'clock.
What time was you here?
10 o'clock.
Was it 10 o'clock or 10:02?
It was 10 o'clock.
I don't know.
I was already outside. Donnie was pulling up.
Now, I pulled up at 10:02,
I was
and
outside.
Neo was walking in the building waving at me with his victory wave.
At 10:02.
But I was already outside.
Good.
Oh, okay. David doesn't consider outside on time.
Yeah, it's not. But anyway,
he considers it sitting down in that seat.
Yeah, for sure. Moral of the story, I didn't, and the thing is, I don't know if I'm being too harsh saying I wouldn't use the person.
Well, I think the thing is, it's okay for her to introduce, now I can get this done if you're willing to. But the moment you say back to her, but this isn't my primary resident, like you said it back enough times for her to really get like, oh, I'm dealing with a man of integrity. This is not the method we're using.
Sure. And I don't want to commit bank fraud. You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
Bank fraud is major.
And I saw y'all were at WebinarCon. Right. And I'm about to start a webinar. I'm really, really excited about it.
Congratulations.
And thank you so much. A weekly webinar, which That's how you built your business, right? I mean, that's how you really started making some money. Weekly webinars?
That's not how I really start making some. Money's relative. I really started making money 15 years ago on that fruit truck, although it was only $20 a day.
No money.
Yeah,
but I'm talking about like when you really got into the space of like big numbers.
Yeah.
Webinars every week, right? For how long?
2 years.
So explain this process.
So for 2 years straight, I just did a webinar every week teaching people how to open up event spaces. And I just did
2 years.
Yeah, and I just did it 2 years. About a year and a half, 2 years, didn't miss a week.
Same presentation.
Same presentation.
You don't think that
I became a better speaker.
Really?
So the thing that will allow people don't get with a webinar, one, if you're not willing to do it for at least a year, just don't even try it.
Why
now,
not?
some people actually are good enough to do it a few times and put it on Evergreen. So some people, one of my buddies make $10 million a month doing it, Evergreen. He's very good, and I don't believe he ever did it live but one time. So he got it dialed in. It's very seldom that anybody can get it dialed in on that caliber. He spent $150,000 a day on just YouTube ads. Now,
what? Hold on. You said he spends $150,000 a day on YouTube ads.
Yep, just seeing this presentation.
Nah, keep talking.
Okay, cool. So, more of the story is what a webinar does. Sometimes when you're doing something, you don't know what is
So he spends $4.5 million a month and makes $10 million a month.
Right.
And it's evergreen. It just sits there.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But people are missing so much strategy I think it's almost disrespectful to just say he's just doing an evergreen webinar.
It's a lot going on.
Because there are
it took him 4 months to write it,
layers.
He said.
Yeah.
He said it took 4 months to write it.
If you can put your webinar strategy together in under 30 days, you've missed a lot. It takes 30 days to really figure out everything that's going to happen. Like the new webinar strategy that I'm still writing the new webinar strategy.
Can I get your notes?
Absolutely.
Take extensive notes.
You got them on there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let's go through them. I want to hear it. I need to know.
This dude always want a coaching session, man.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all not trying to share with the audience? Y'all trying this loyal social proof audience? Y'all trying to hold back?
No.
Y'all trying to keep the game for yourself?
Because then you're going to have people in the comments talking about, oh, you don't want, no, we share everything.
We share everything.
Got y'all.
We share everything.
But let me say this too. I just want, because this is important to note. Sometimes you're doing something that you think you're getting something out of it, but not knowing what you're really getting out of it. So for me, what I learned from doing the webinar every week, it made me a better speaker. So now they like, yo, you're so good at speaking. I was horrible at speaking.
I remember.
Right? I was a bad speaker.
You were terrible.
But if you do it every single week, you get good. Like I'm like, a lot of people want to know how to become a better speaker. You can hire a coach to do that. Mm-hmm. But the best way to become a better speaker is put your reps in.
Yeah.
How do you become a better podcast? You got a podcast.
Period.
He could teach you all the nuances, but until you sit down and start interviewing some people, you're not going to get good. So you learn marketing because you got to fill the room every week. You were about to say something about doing the same presentation every week. New people should be seeing it every week.
Every week.
So not only you become a better speaker, you become a better closer. A lot of people are like, yo, how do you close sales? You do that every week. In the last hour is just convincing or persuading or encouraging somebody to buy. You got to pull some stuff. You got to get good at that.
How long was the webinar?
What? Which one? In general?
Your webinar. Yeah.
Oh, that was 2 to 3 hours every week.
Mm-hmm.
That's what kind of made me exhausted. I said I couldn't do it no more. I was doing it every week. Burnt me out.
Goodness gracious.
But marketing you learn, sales you learn, effective communication you learn. All of them skills you learn now allows you to just generate income. Like you apply these same skills now in every business you're in now.
How do you fill the room?
You fill the room. I mean, it's a series of filling the room ads. So right now we're running TikTok ads, Instagram ads, YouTube ads, shout out pages, your own marketing, podcasts. Like you can't just do one thing. You got to really, and I'll share with people one of my mistakes. But you got to do a series of things. And the biggest thing you got to do, and we just dawned on us now, was we neglected to optimize. I'm talking about we were doing great every week. We were making anywhere from 30 to 70 grand per week at that time. Every week. Every week. I'm talking about, but we never tried to improve it. We was just showing up every week. And that's how most people show up in their business every week. you're just showing up doing the same thing, but you never look to how can you improve it. So now we're going back to the webinar. Now we optimizing it. Like we're adding things. We're doing things that we weren't doing before. So every week in your business, you should write down what's 5 to 10 ways we now can improve our business. Like I did this last week. I wrote 10 things down that has to be improved. So it starts compounding. As Anik says in there, when it comes to a webinar, is success is in the decimals. Like it's in the small little things that you apply that make a huge difference. It's not in the big, it's not the big stuff. It's like, oh, Donni said this when she closed that just added 10 sales. But if she do that every week, after a year, 52 weeks times 10, I think that's 520 plus sales that she wouldn't add because she said something.
Times a $2,000 sale.
She said something. So it's in those series of just saying, doing a lot of the small things right.
Gotcha. You got your notes ready?
Let's get these notes out. What are we talking about today?
Because the webinar, I'm excited on this webinar journey of teaching the same thing. The ultimate goal. Did you have something high ticket?
No, I tore my event space. It's like $2,000.
Okay,
$2,000 or $3,000.
I mean, and I'll let you guys kind of tell me based on what you guys learned or what y'all know about webinars. But the whole objective is bringing people into the morning meetup. So obviously, we want to sell to $399 for the year or $79 a month. It doesn't matter to me. But the objective is, because I was trying to figure out how do we grow and it not be incremental. And we really just got to go hard with these types of things. So am I going to spend, I believe if we get, our first goal is to get 5,000 people on the webinar, which means we have to get about 15,000 people to register. So shouts out to Justin P and Words, they kind of on the back end on that. But 15,000 people registered, 5,000 people on the webinar. And I believe at such a low ticket, we can close half.
Yeah.
Especially like that first one.
It'd be a challenge to get 15,000 people on, but it could be done.
Well, 15,000 registrants, 5,000 on.
You have to spend some money.
Yeah, you got to spend money. But my concern there is you got to spend money, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't know that there's enough profit to say, let me run ads to get people to at most a $399 a $399 offer. So you get 5,000 people to show up. Maybe 60% of them are going to stay on the whole time. So that's 3,000 people that will even hear your offer. You close 30% of them. That's 900 people at $399. That's $359,000.
But it's recurring. But it's recurring though.
That's recurring for the year. Though.
Well, no, that's for the year. So that's one time for that year.
But it going to recur the following year.
100%.
A percentage of them. Anyway.
And if they do 79, they're probably going to stay about 3 months, which is.
But I'd rather you do the year.
100%. But so that's pretty much on target because we were thinking spending $75,000 a week.
Yeah, at least
$75,000 a week on ad spend. But if you're doing that times 4, that's $300,000. You end up making $59,000.
He's saying every week he want to spend 75,000 and make 300 per week. He's saying.
Got you.
Yeah, okay. For sure. So even if we're netting,
you gotta be spending a lot of money though to get 5,000, 15,000 registrants.
I think our first one. So Justin, he's doing it now, right? He said he gets about 2,000 people on his webinar every single week, but I think he said he's spending about that. I think he said he's spending 50,000 a week. Mm-hmm. So I mean, but I think because it's so low ticket, I'll be able to close at a higher percentage than 30%. 30% is something $2,000, $3,000, but it's almost no brainer. The stuff that we do is always a brainer.
It's always a brainer.
$399, I think somebody would try it for $79 to $399 and we'll have a higher closing.
Yeah, interestingly enough, the lower the ticket, the harder the sale.
Think so?
That's just what the stats say.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. All right. Give me your notes.
So just test it is all I would say. Test it and see. So you have a couple things working in your favor. Number one, you have a marketing genius kind of, behind you, helping you figure that out. But number two, you are already a validated brand. Mm-hmm. So someone new trying that wouldn't get the same result as you. Even if they could get 15,000 people registered for their webinar, they're not going to get the same result because you have the know, like, and trust factor, working in your favor. You can speak in thousands of testimonials in your favor. So that's very important to note. Typically, a webinar works best if you're running ads. Let me say that. If you're going to be paying for marketing, a webinar works best if you have a product or service that you're selling for at least $1,000 or higher, $997 or higher. If you're running ads, and that's just to make sure that you're thinking about what you're paying the ads team, what you're paying in your ad spend, and whatever it costs you to fulfill. So usually for it to be worth your time when you're doing ads. Now, if you're not doing ads and you're doing organic marketing, then you can sell whatever you want at however much you want to sell it for. But that's just the general rule of thumb.
Okay. All right. Give us.
I mean, we have a bunch of notes. We learned for 3 days. You
probably should have been there.
You probably should have been there.
Child, bro. Like, what do you want me to do?
Like, you should have flown in right after.
But here's the thing. You don't come to a lot of events I tell you to come to, though. You got to start coming, bro.
This year I'm coming.
All right. I'm going to hold you to it.
Not really. One thing was, this is my first year and a half having a newborn, and my wife was pregnant too. So
I removed that part. We talking about next year. You talking about
next year. No, I'm locked in.
I'm in because y'all ain't gonna. I got newborns and all of that.
I was just about to ask you, Neo. You've got a tribe.
But y'all different, bro. Y'all different. I'm talking about as soon as the baby come out, Neo like, yo, I'm going to Dubai. I'm like, dang, bro. let me.
Like, y'all breathing, y'all good? Yeah. All right, cool. I gotta get this flight to Dubai.
I'm trying to make sure the family good, man. I gotta go get this information.
All right, pause the episode real quick. I know you're enjoying it. Neo is the GOAT when it comes to marketing. And as you all know, I'm in his mastermind. I'm a proud member, but this is just a snippet of what is the stuff that he teaches in the mastermind. And what he said was, I can offer you a seat at the table, okay? Neo's offering you an opportunity to apply to be at a dinner, which is a preview of the mastermind. You just got to go to greatnessdinner.com so you can connect with other people that are in the environment and just to see, is this going to be a fit for me? Is this going to be the right fit? But if you want a fast pass, go straight to the mastermind. Like, yo, I've seen him enough. I rock with him enough. I trust Dave. I just want to be in the mastermind. I want to apply for that. You can go to mastermindwithneo.com. Fast pass, just say, I'm ready to grow. I'm ready to be in an environment of winners, okay? So if you want to go to the dinner, just go to greatnessdinner.com. But if you're ready right now, go to mastermindwithneo.com. All right, jump in, get in the game, start implementing these strategies immediately. Let's get back to the episode. Hey, man.
I wonder, because this year I did feel like I burnt out a little bit. I'm in so many masterminds. I'm going to event after event. It started to burn me out a little bit, though.
You know what the difference, though, is I don't think I want it as bad as you.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Like, there's certain goals. We have different goals, right? So Neo is just going, right? And it's not it's like your preference. And I think you got to decide, how hard do you want to go? And I had a real conversation with myself. I said, I want to go hard enough to be regular rich.
Yo, I told you that a couple of months ago, and you ate me alive when I said, Shans, I don't think, like I said, I used to say before I realized what it meant that I wanted to be a billionaire for no reason.
Oh my gosh, you stole that from me a year ago. I said that.
First of all, that we had a conversation and I said first, I've realized that I no longer have a desire to be a billionaire.
And when was this conversation?
This was a year ago.
Okay.
This was a year ago. Say? And you also at that time said you didn't want to be a billionaire at that time. But earlier this year, you're like, man, I'm getting it, everything, blah, 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 blah. That's where you were earlier this year. And I'm like, I just kind of want to be regular rich. You know what I mean?
So, no, I'm going to get it, but within the time that I'm cool getting it.
So I'm curious.
We're going at it. I do a lot of stuff, but pretty much by the time 4 or 5 o'clock hits.
Yeah, that's a different type of grind. Neo is the first person I see online when I wake up. He is the last person I see online when I go to sleep. Sure. And I'm not talking about the team that's posting stuff. I'm talking about the first person on live when I wake up, the last person on live when I go to sleep. And I'm like, yo, Neo, what do you do? What's the goal?
I I'm not trying to go back to not having nothing.
I get it.
It ain't even, I don't even got I got a financial target. It's huge. I said on the last podcast, but it ain't even about, it's about, I promised God that if I ever got back, when I start making money, when I believe we launched Circle Greatness Academy and you launched Sleepless Nights at the same time. And at some point I got it to 10 grand and 11 and 12. And I stopped doing all the things that got me there. And then went 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. So I said, God, if you ever get me back, I'm never going to take it for granted. So I'm so happy it happened. So I just grind because I don't want to know, like I ain't trying to go back. And what I do every week is I go look at, every week I spend about an hour a week going to go look at people who were up and now they messed up. I do it every week. I go look at old entertainers, old rappers, and I'm talking about they was at the top of the game. Now they messed. I'm like, oh, that can't be me. That's one of my exercises. So I just can't stop because I retire my mom, my wife, my family.
I think it makes you happy. Like working hard and grinding, it makes you happy. Like
it's also the environment I'm in, man. I'm around all of these people who going so hard. It's like you can't be around these people and just be chilling.
Do you feel pressure from your environment to continue to work? Yeah, a lot of pressure.
Yeah, you darn right. Especially like when we went to grant stuff, like you around that, how they talking is like, I gotta get up and just start doing anything.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Anything.
Yeah.
Like you can't just be chilling. These people go hard, go hard.
Everybody's standing up like, yeah, man, I can't get past this one ceiling, man. I can't get past 50 million a year. And I'm like, what? That's your biggest problem?
Yeah.
And that be their biggest problem. They're trying to figure out how to get to that next level.
There was the guy, who was it that was talking at WebinarCon, Neo, and he's like, man, for like 3 years in a row, I was stuck at 16 million a year from these webinars. Who gave the really great speech? He wasn't the keynote, but he spoke on the last day.
Flatland?
I bought his book. Yeah, Jason.
Yeah, he's a bad boy.
So he's like, Jason's for 3 years straight.
He's like the white Neo.
He's like, for 3 years straight, I'm struggling with these webinars. I'm frustrated. I couldn't get past $16 million a year. And I found myself out loud going, aw.
Yeah.
Poor you. How do you live?
Poor you. How are you surviving? What slum conditions are you living in? But it was just like another reality check of how big some people dream. Like how big some people dream. I was just telling my mom last night, she made some tacos. So I went up to her place to get some tacos.
She wanted to make it clear that I don't live with my mom, y'all.
Right.
I'm playing.
Okay. Right. Which, I mean, knowing what I know today, I wouldn't mind. Okay, yeah. I would not mind my mother living with me today. I would not mind. It's so funny that I worked so hard. Me and my mom have lived together most of my life, and I worked so hard, like, to live separately. And now it's like we could actually live together. It would be so much more convenient. But I was telling her, we were talking about money last night, and I kind of always catch her up on, things that I'm doing. And last year, my journey looked a lot different. Last year, my journey to my financial success was a lot of work. This year, it had more to do with diversifying and more investments, right? And so I was telling her that I have this particular investment account that is finally at a place where if I don't touch it for the next 12 months, it'll probably earn about $2 million on its own next year. And she's like, what? It's unbelievable to her. And she's like, so, what's your plan for next year? Are you still working? And, and I'm like, yeah, I'm still going to work. But to know that definitely takes some weight off your shoulders. And I'm like, Ma, what do you think? How much do you think I need to earn for me, you, and Dej to be straight for the rest of our lives? And my mom was like, $5 million.
The rest of our lives?
What kind of life are we living?
You mean you saying that's a lot or a little bit?
It's a little bit. Okay. I'm like, what kind of life are we living?
The rest of your lives, though.
5 million. I mean, you got to think of our ages and all this stuff. And it was just another, because there are people who at 20 years old, if they have $5 million, can live for the rest of their lives.
That's most people, I think. It depends how you living.
Yeah, that is most people. But
average
it was another
cost of living probably like $3,000 to $5,000 a month.
Yeah, it was another
humans, though.
This is 3 humans.
Oh, 3, yeah.
It was just another indication of how we think differently and see things differently. I don't know. I was thinking about it last night, like what amount of money do I have to physically have liquid, not considering the investments that I have working for me, but what amount of money do you physically have to say, I work now just because I want to, but me and whoever I take care of are straight for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, we were talking about on the call. I think the question that we all should ask ourselves is, what do we want to have instead of what we want to make? You want to find out what you want to make, but you could make 20 million and not have a dime. You could, like, there are athletes that make, $50, $60 million contracts and they don't have anything. Like, I know some people that's like really close with like a bunch of NFL players. They like, they be asking me like, let me get 10,000, let me get 20,000 until payday, pretty much. You know what I mean? So I think it's a really important question of like, what do you want to have? What do you want to see in your account? Like, I'm excited, like with this building, I know it's not like a dollar amount, it's like cash, liquid cash, but I know if I need to pull some money, I can refinance the joint and get some money out. Easy.
What do you think that number is for you, liquid, that you need to have available to you for you to say, we're straight for the rest of our lives?
I would say, I don't know. I would say like 10 million, but I know I'm not going to stop making money.
Yeah. What about you, Neo?
I moved to Atlanta and cost of living went up. Probably like a 20 pack.
Look, don't blame it on Atlanta, bro. Blame it on Neo. Like, the new Lambo comes out, you got to have it.
No,
I said 25. 25 for sure.
25 million?
I believe. So the thing is,
how do we get it?
I was about to say, but here's the thing. How do we get it? It brings us back to February of 2021. How do we get 1 million, right? But after you do that, like, I can see $25 million. Like, I can see it. I could see
making it. Yes,
I could see making. You mean possessing
and
having
it?
Well, now, but seeing the way, I think when it was only about the work that I put in, it was difficult to see myself having $25 million liquid. But then when you start learning more, like investing, like how do we find more investments like what we're in? Just find more of those. You'll end up with 25 million.
And they hit me off. It worked.
I got to go get my driver's license right after this.
Yep. Anyway.
Yeah. No, but that's the thing. I think it's really difficult for what we do. It's probably difficult to work for enough money where you have 25 million cash. Or I won't even say difficult because it's possible. Like, I'm hearing from these guys on stage who are doing 60 million a year and all this stuff. I don't know, what their net is, but
that's the key.
Yeah, I don't know what their net is, but you got to imagine. I mean, you're at least bringing home 5 mil of that, right? Hopefully, I would say more than that. I would hope that you're bringing home like 10. But if you do that 5 years in a row,
but it's not even really about what you bring home, because after you bring it home, there's expenses.
Well, I mean, like if you're making 60 million net, so
net or gross?
Here's the thing. Here's my point.
Gross.
It doesn't even matter. Let's say you do 60 million gross and you bring home 10 million net. That's no guarantee that you're going to have 10, 5, 2, 1. So let's look at the scenario. I was making $30,000 a year. And obviously, I didn't have any money. You know what I mean? You make $30,000 a year. You don't have just a whole bunch of money. I think I might have had maybe. I remember when I got to saving my first $1,000, and I was so excited. But then, like that next year, I made like $50,000. I had 1,000 saved, so nothing changed. Even though like I almost doubled my income, the amount of money that I had did not change. And then I remember one year as an entrepreneur, I made $250,000. I had $2,000. I remember looking at my savings account, I saw $2,000. I 5X'd my income and only doubled what I had saved. So like, it doesn't matter your gross, your net. It's about your living expenses, your buying habits, like how you start managing your money. Because the more money you have, the more lifestyle you're gonna live because you have the money.
The more money you make, you keep adding new stuff to it.
Yeah, for sure.
And they add up fast. And here's the other thing is, if you the only person making that type of money around you, then you going out. Now everybody, one of the reasons why I think athletes go broke, some of them, is when they go out or entertain, everything on them.
Everything.
It's a lot of pressure when every time you go out, the bill gotta be covered by you.
Every time. $5,000 bill every single time.
That thing, and they don't want to tell people no. They provide for their mom, their grandmom, their whole family. With us, I believe in providing for your family, but they got to do something.
Yeah.
My mom run those event spaces. Like, you have to do something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
I want everybody around me to be a producer.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be a producer.
You got to make it like, my mom doesn't necessarily work because it was my goal for her to retire, which she's been able to do, but she wants to work. So I am looking to figure out what she can do, honestly, because my business just runs, right? I'd be creating a position. But the one kind of unspoken agreement that we have is that she just makes my life easier, right? Like, don't make it any more difficult. She does a great job at making it easier. Like, she checks on me, have you eaten? We live in the same condo building. So she's like, hey, have you eaten? I have salad up here I just made. I got tacos, da-da-da-da-da-da. She's recently started, I'm traveling a whole lot more, and she's recently started helping me watch my dog so I don't have to think about, who's watching my dog, extra expenses. So as long as you are making life easier, I'm gonna take care of my mom regardless, even if she was making life difficult. But it feels good to me to take care of my mom, and she helps to make my life easier.
Yeah, look, I want to make this video real quick. Hey guys, I'm just announcing we're here live, Social Proof Podcast. I want to let everybody know that if we go out to lunch or dinner, I'm not paying for it this month, okay? This is a month, I'm going on a challenge, okay? So if you want to have a meeting, just know you got to pay for it, okay? If we go out on a lunch, dinner, or something,
you just got to pay
just
for it.
Know I'm not paying for it. Neo, if we go hang out, we can go to eat.
I pay for it most times anyway.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Me too.
Facts.
Now that's lying, okay? So listen, if you want to have a meeting or something like that,
I
it's
pay
cool.
for it in time.
I'm just not paying. I'm normally the person that pays for the bill.
You are the person who financially pays.
Well, I mean, Neo, he just got more money than me. But
I pay information. Look,
you never pay. I'm just saying we can do some lunch meetings.
Information in time.
I'm just saying I'm not paying. So this is just a warning to y'all. It's not like I ain't got no money, okay? I'm not being cheap, but it's a challenge for me, okay?
As I think about that, one thing, so in my family, all the women get together and celebrate. Like, if there's a birthday, all the grown women get together and go to dinner. We go out. And I remember treating, earlier this year, the first birthday this year in January, my cousin's dinner. Her husband recently passed, and he was ill. He recently passed, and she's just the sweetest person in the world. And her birthday kicked off the year in January, and I paid for her. I paid for the whole dinner for everyone. Well, then the next month was my mom's birthday. And of course, that was automatic. I paid for that entire dinner, right? But then I start thinking like, well, now if I stop, it looks like I just did it for them. And so this year, I just went ahead and decided I'm going to take care of every single birthday dinner for every woman in my family that we have this agreement with. Aww. And I've taken care of every single birthday dinner, and it made me feel really good to do it. However, I have had, conversations with my money team that says, no, ma'am. Yeah. Like, those are just things, because there's a birthday nearly every single month. And it's just things that I could have taken that money and done something different with it. But I also struggle with celebrating people in real time while they're here, to experience that. So this year, that was my thing, to let my family know, like, how much I appreciate them and love them and all this. I took care of everybody's birthday dinner. But Neo, I can see how a habit like that, if you're doing that for family and then you're doing it for friends and all this, you'll go broke doing that.
Fast. I'm
telling you. You'll go broke fast.
Are we still doing lunch after this? Because she was about to order food.
It's whatever you want to do.
That's what's up. But real quick, I want to get to, I'm actually posting this right now, but I do want to get to this webinar strategy, because I know have y'all ever done a webinar? It'd be cool. Probably make some money. So can I get some of your notes from webinar?
Yeah, I mean, it will be easier to ask some questions because we have all kinds of notes.
Okay, I got
when I say I got a webinar, we've been running that.
Chance, I just want you to see that these are the notes.
Hey, two of my young boys, right? Chance, two of my young boys that's making $1 million right now a month.
$1 million a month.
They I think they're doing more than that, but they came to the event you came to when we taught about webinars. You came to that event. Well, you gave me like $7,000 in Miami a few years ago. Yeah. And they were at that event. But here's the key. Well, one didn't even start till 6 months ago. But here's the key. The other gentleman who was there, he hasn't stopped doing it since then.
Oh, wow.
So now he's making $1 million plus a month on it. But he's the number one key to this is consistency.
Right.
You got to stick with it.
Okay. So did they say anything at WebinarCon about the amount of slides that you need?
So I think slides is relative to the person. Like, I'm not good with slides. Like, I don't even know how to really do slides. Like, my thing is just go up there and go. So I only be having like 20, 30 slides.
Gotcha.
Because I can't be thinking like that. Gotcha. Now, Donni was there. I spoke at WebinarCon. I started with these slides. I'm like, man, but now I'm in a box I'm
trying to signal him, like, gotcha. Change the slide.
Yeah, now I just went in and then I did my thing when gotcha. You just got to unleash me, let me go to work.
Neil didn't even know how to use the clicker.
Yeah, I don't do that stuff. Bro.
But so typically, like, if you look at the structure of like a perfect webinar, which is an actual thing, for like a 90-minute webinar, you'd have about 200 slides.
Yeah.
Right. And that's relative also. And don't forget that these slides are a display. Like, there's 3 main different points that you're going to cover in a webinar. And the first one is going to be connection. How do you connect with people, get them to connect with you? How can you help people see themselves in you? Right. Some part of their journey is a part of a journey that you've experienced, or a part of their journey that they're looking to get to. And then the second, which is what Neo gave, a strong piece of content. Like, what's the strong, undeniable piece of content that's going to knock them out to say, I need more of this. Whatever it is that he is selling at the end of this, he gave such strong content that was so relevant to me, obviously, that I am going to buy whatever it is that he has. And then that third one is going to be conversion. So what are the conversation points that you're having around conversion, converting them from people who just come onto the webinar and then into people who actually buy.
Gotcha. Okay, let's take it step by step. So a webinar, how do you identify what is a good product or service, or what type of stuff does well with this webinar model?
Normally so most people are selling information for the most part. Like, they're teaching you how to become a notary, how to start a podcast, how to become a coach, how to open up an event space, right? Go hack mine, go to startmyeventspace.com, right? Go hack, come watch it, right? But hack it. That's another thing. Just hack somebody who's working. Take their emails, their texts, like, go literally model one that works. But the idea is that you're selling a product, like Donni said earlier, $1,000 to infinite. You're normally not going to sell $1,000 to $3,000. You pushing it at $5,000. You got to be extremely good to get $5,000.
Gotcha.
Or you're normally going to book a call.
So if I'm doing $399, I'm outside that window.
At $399, I mean, you don't need 300 slides for $399. Like, you need an hour, not even, because it's such a low barrier like that. Like,
45 minutes to an hour.
You need just in and out. You almost could just talk to people. Yeah. Like, it don't got to be heavy convincing on what you're doing because of the time. One thing we say is emergent equal conversion. The longer they spend with you, the more they'll probably spend with you. But for $399 or $379, I don't think you got to be there the entire time. And here's one thing. Let me just share this with everybody. I'm about to double y'all business. Very simple. And most people don't understand this concept. A lot of people are selling for $497. You need to double the prices immediately. A lot of people are selling for $997. You need to double the. There's no difference in $997 and $1997. It's zero difference. It's zero difference between $997 and $14. This is somebody who's tested it. Like, I just did the webinar that I told you about last week, and I pretty much got the same sales. I would have made a little bit more for $14.97, but it equals to being the same money because now I'm losing $500 per whatchamacallit. The more money you make, you also can now scale more. Like I can now afford more ads. I can afford because you got a higher price point, and you can serve your customers at a highest level. So for those who are looking at this doing a webinar, right now, I will go make you money. Double whatever you're doing. Double the price.
Yeah. Well, let me ask this question.
That's going to go over a lot of people's head too. That simple concept.
It just went over his head.
For sure.
No, I get it, obviously, but I know a lot of people don't because the question now becomes, okay, I'm doubling the price. We came up with a price because of like value. And we can't necessarily use a blanket statement like that because they might not be making sales or they're not offering
somebody who got something going, meaning you've been doing this already. You've been like, I was talking to Justin, like, yo, bro, Justin is extremely good at what he does with clothing. The offer at the time was $497, bro. It's worth $2,000 based on your.
But what you're saying is double the price. So let's say you're offering $14.97, right? So what you're telling yourself is, yo, you need to go to $3,000 immediately. But there's a problem with that.
What's the problem?
I'm asking you.
Oh, so I remember I just reintroduced mine at $19.97. It was $9.97 and it was $14.97. But I never at the time went to $2,000 because I thought it was a difference. But as we start selling more higher ticket products, I realized it ain't no difference. And it ain't no difference. Another $500 shouldn't stop you from getting a transformation that you're seeking.
But there's a okay, so
it's a mental thing that gotta happen. Okay, but you gotta believe in it.
I get it, but you charge how much?
What you mean?
How much is your offer at the end?
It's for the webinar is $2,000.
Okay. Yeah. So why don't you just go to $3,000?
I can.
You can, of course. You can go to $10,000, but why don't you?
I just didn't because that was the first time. I haven't done a workshop in 2 years. That was the first one, $2,000. I could go to $3,000 now for sure.
So you going to do $3,000 this week?
I might.
No, I'm asking. Why don't you just do it?
I can.
But I'm saying your advice is just double it, right? But
the only reason why I want to say this,
there has to be, because even when you get to $3,000, right?
Yeah.
If going off what you're saying, people should just double it to $6,000.
You can.
But if you can't make it $20,000.
But so the thing is, what you're saying is, when does it stop? When does the doubling it stop?
Or like there has to be more factors in there than just raise your price.
So the factors in raising your prices, first off, most people are undercharging what they're offering.
I agree.
Period. Like more than Meetup, honestly, it's worth more than $379.
100%.
I mean, you getting a call every week, every day. You getting meetups, and this is an ad. This not even an ad, y'all. You don't owe me money for this, but think about you get to come every day for an hour. Every day, 5 days a week. They doing book clubs, they doing quarterly events. You meeting with other people. $300 a year, bro.
True.
It's worth $5,000 without even a
every week.
What is the cost of the community?
All right, listen, every single week, every episode, you hear me talking about themorningmeetup.com. It's the community. Let me show you what's happening here. Every single morning, Monday through Friday, there's 400 plus people on a Zoom call, right? We're learning, we're talking, we're growing together, and this is you. There's all these people here. It's all these people in the morning meetup. Hundreds of people reading books, growing. We get together quarterly. It's amazing. And for some reason, you just keep looking at, just go to themorningmeetup.com and get in the circle. And then you'll be like way happier. Just themorningmeetup.com. Let's get back to the episode.
What is one relationship worth?
Yeah.
This young lady's in here. She said she does signs. I'm sure she didn't do it for free. And how many other signs?
That one,
okay.
We made her a lot of money though.
No, but she's made money.
I say all that to say, guess what? And she's going to keep making money.
For sure.
In perpetuity, next year, $300 for you to put me in the community. I'm actually using you.
All right, we're going to raise the price. But everybody that's like on it, y'all good, okay? You guys will be grandfathers. You know,
I'm about to be a part of the morning meetup.
I was actually thinking that too. Like at the January 1st, we raised it. It wasn't gonna be nothing drastic, but from $79 to $97 a month, and like $399.
And I'm not trying to raise it for people listening. Like, yo, Shan's go get. But I want you to start thinking about what is the payoff when someone is working with you. Yeah. Like, what is for somebody to give me $2,000 and you go get an event space? One of my students made her first $1 million this year with 3 event spaces. One of my guys make $11,000 a month. He fired his boss, retired his wife. He said, man, forget the money. I'm free. I'm living on my own terms. I get to do music again.
Yeah.
It's big. Like, what is that? What is the transformation worth?
Well, and then the other thing is you have to, it depends on what your goal is, right?
Facts.
So at one point, my goal was to serve beginners and just get them started. I just want you to get started, do something, launch an idea. And then they would go and launch these ideas. And I realized I enjoyed the process of helping you take your idea to scale, right? More than I enjoyed the process of talking through a business idea, but as I'm now years later looking at the results and the numbers, I have way more testimonials and results from people who pay me $2,000 plus than I did from people who paid me $400, $200. True. Like just more people did more with the information. So sometimes it's not just about charge. My prices fluctuate based on data. And when I see that we're running a special for $9.97, but this group that we ran this special with from $9.97, nobody produced a result, nobody gave me a testimonial, take it back to $19.97. Because when I look at the numbers at $19.97 and I see that I have 30% of these people who have gone out to make 6 figures, this is the number. This is obviously the number that they need to pay in order to take it seriously enough to get the result. Yeah. Because I'm not just trying to sell a course. I want the testimonial. Facts. I want the bigger result. One, I want the result for you to go out and do what it was that my mission is set to do. But 2, I have bigger things to do that I can't do if I can't show that you produced the result.
Yes.
There's no transactions, no transformation. How many people in the morning meetup?
I got about 1,000 now.
How many show up to the call?
920 something.
Half of that? 300?
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
450.
Because the others don't show up because it didn't cost them enough.
Yeah.
And they don't value it.
Yeah.
When you invested in joining my mastermind, you were showing up initially.
Yep.
Because that was the most you spent for a mastermind at the time.
Till he started making more money.
Yeah. And then he joined another one. He showed up for the first couple months. But as his money as you make more money,
I'm back outside.
Listen though, but as you start you start growing and certain things lose value, like the more you pay attention.
That's
period. And again, I'm just telling people, audiences, not telling you go charge more. Do what you want, what works for you. But like Donni said, when you pay and you value it, you take it serious.
I think that is good advice, though. I do believe that most people probably should double their offering, but not just double it and see what happens.
Yeah. For sure, you know but not also don't just go double it. If you don't have anybody who's gotten a result from you at current price,
exactly,
you got to go out and get some people some results first, right?
Facts.
And then because the price has to be in alignment with the value. That's that's not true. The value, if you do it right, is always going to be more than the price. Yeah. So my program that develops coaches develops them. I have 30% of those people go out and make 6 figures. Well, if my value was in alignment with the price, I'd be charging 6 figures. It will cost you $100,000 to access my 6-figure accelerator. It only costs $19.97. So the value and the price will never be in alignment. It has to be a price that you are comfortable receiving for the value that you give. And you also, when you are looking for results from less people than you're making the program for, if that makes sense. So 100% of you can come in here and get a result, but I know that statistically only 7 to 9% of people finish courses. So I need a message that speaks to all of the people who want to create a course or consulting program, but the information in here is for the select few that's going to finish.
Yeah, 100%. Okay. All right. So we understand the pricing on the webinar model, right? Give me some structure in teaching, because it's not just you go in there and teach. There's, what I'm understanding is there's actually a formula, how you start, what's going on in the middle, priming people for the offer. Can we walk through some of that?
Did you hear Donni? She broke it down earlier.
No, like the actual, we didn't. Okay, I don't want to teach it because I'm learning what I'm learning, but in the beginning, it's like getting them to trust you. You're telling your story.
Was the first thing I said. Connection.
But okay, what does that mean though? But what I'm saying is there's a structure to it.
Well, listen, before you even get to that part, is like
there's testimonials. Like I asked you for a testimonial, right? Because Justin was like, "Yo, in a particular part, there needs to be testimonials that adds validation to what you're doing to other people." And then you're telling stories and their story after you tell your story. And then you get into the offer, but you don't want to, like, you're not like, most of it isn't, here's 1, 2, 3 steps. Do we give homework after?
So that's the thing about a webinar, Chance, is that there's levels to it. And everybody shouldn't be doing an advanced level webinar because they don't have enough experience to do it. Or team. They cannot facilitate an advanced level. Like the type of webinar you're talking about, you need to have framework and infrastructure in place behind you in order to pull off. So I don't want to scare the people who actually watch this podcast from just get on, start your Zoom, have your slides, and go to work.
I don't think it was that difficult. Okay, let me give you,
because look at this.
This is very different.
Like, yeah, I agree. Like you got it. We talking about, just say when you opt in our workshop, right? You're gonna be, from the time the webinar, when you opt in till it's over, you're gonna get 30 emails from me. You're gonna get 5 to 7 of them before the webinar starts. In that 5 to 7, you're going to get, we just added this, a student success interview that we want you to watch before it happens. When you opt in our webinar, this made us a whole lot of money, is you opt in, it's free. Soon as you opt in, after it's free, it redirects you to a different offer where you buy something for $27, $37. That helps cover up the cost of your acquisition. If they don't buy it, we go ahead and do a down sell. And now they got something to come digest before they get there. I created a workbook, so you go through a workbook while we're doing a workshop, right? So now we talk about, that's on the front end. Day of, you're getting 3 to 5 texts from me before the webinar starts, reminding you, telling you to show up. You're getting a ringless voicemail from me telling you, hey, it's about to start, don't be late. When the webinar is going on, you getting a text right before I start. You getting a text when I get to the steps. When she talking about advanced, that thing gets good. But I'm talking about, it gets deep. Depends on how.
And that's what I'm talking about. This level of execution, this isn't something that you just say, okay, shoot, let's do it. Right. You actually need to sit down and think through each step. Like, you have to understand, this kind of webinar is for someone who understands the psychology of the people who do business with them. Otherwise, you will just be throwing a lot of money out of the window. Like, can you identify 50 reasons that people need your offer? Right? What are the objections? Can you anticipate what they're going to say no before they say it? Can you kind of read the room and feel that? Do you have the answer for those questions? What makes this no-brainer for them? Do you know exactly what they're going through and experiencing in their lives or in their situation right now to make this like, oh, this is a no-brainer. Because it's not just the fact that...
It's always a brainer. That's our phrase on this podcast.
It's always a brainer. But it's not just the fact that nobody cares that, for real, there's 5 calls a day in the morning meetup. Nobody cares that you're online with them every single day. There's a problem that activity is solving for them. And so what is the problem? How do we communicate that? And then there's other little tips and things, tricks that you can do inside your webinar to increase. Like, most people go wrong with just having a funnel that says, like what Neo was saying, you have ad, or however you hear about it, you have registration, webinar, close, done, right? But what about when they get on the webinar? What's that dead space looking like in the first 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes that you're giving people to get on the webinar? Do you have a video of just testimonial after testimonial after testimonial plan?
Like in the very beginning?
A video of testimonial after testimonial. Like, if
but I want you to because I don't want it to be hypothetical. Like, do you have this? Do you have that? Like, give
there's so many different things. So in the beginning, you could have a scrolling video of testimonials that you've pulled from your Instagram, your Facebook, or you can have actual people testimonial video that's showing. You can have some type of a reel, that's just a view, that like an EPK or something like that. That's just a view that displays who you are. There are different things that you can do throughout that. like an electronic press kit, so to speak, but that's something that's like 2 minutes that you're playing so that when people come on to the webinar, their attention is immediately captured. They're not waiting for you to start. There can be things like on my webinars, I'm going to change it up, but what I've done in the past, I'd have a banner tray made for me that said, welcome to the webinar. Go ahead and tell me a little bit about your business. So while we're waiting for people to get on, they're typing in the chat something about, drop it in the chat, tell me something about your business so I know who I'm talking to.
And you're doing that while you're waiting for more people to come on?
While we're waiting for people to come on, because I usually give about 3 minutes for people to come on to the webinar. Okay. So all that's happening. And then it's also a couple of things. We're in the background doing tech checks and sound checks and all kinds of things. And instead of them seeing these transitions, we got them engaged right away. Mm-hmm. One nugget that Josh. Mm-hmm. Josh gave a nugget that I thought was genius. Chris. Yeah. He told me about micro commitments. You want to get micro commitments. He said in a 90-minute webinar, you want to get about 600 micro commitments.
What?
Oh, he go crazy.
Mm-hmm. Micro commitments are those entry points where you're getting people to agree. Yes, that's me. Yes, I want it. Yes, I identify with that. Yeah, I relate. You want to get 600 of those. And so I asked Josh, I said, well, I don't want to be like the micromanager of micro commitments throughout I don't want to be stressed out about it. How do you monitor that? Makes perfect sense. So if you've got 200 slides, you know that you need at least 3 micro commitments per slide, right? So 3 micro commitments per slide. All right, you guys. So I came up from humble beginnings. Anybody here ever started with a humble beginning? Yes. Can you relate? Yeah, my dad was in prison for the majority of my life. Anybody in here had a parent who was in prison while you were growing up? Okay, fantastic, blah, blah, blah. Yo, all I knew is that I had a dream. Anybody else in here had a dream? Right? And so these are micro commitments. You are getting people used to saying yes, yes, yes. And it's a direct expression of, I relate to him. I connect with her. I get what he's saying. She's just like me. He's just like me. And so you're doing that. And the intensity of the micro commitment needs to increase along the way. So at first they're just connecting with you. Then the content drops. That second piece, the content drops, and you're giving who got something from this? What's the takeaway that you got from this right now? You got them typing it out. Why did you need this? Why was this such a mind-blowing breakthrough for you? Typing it out. You're getting them to verbally commit to why they need more of this information.
I'm sorry, is this after you give the information or before you, after
during,
like
the whole time?
It's like during. This is all working together. So you may say, your podcast needs to be on, here's the equipment. Here are the 5 pieces of equipment that I need for the podcast. You got this kind of camera, this kind of mic, this kind of display, this time clock. And they're like, oh my God, that's the missing piece. How many people in here so far that was what you came for? You already got what you came for. What part was stopping you from going ahead with your podcast? Tell me about the part that, give it to me. Not who needs more, who needs something, and they're typing it, and you're able to use this so with this information, if there's somebody who doesn't have the team and infrastructure to actually do anything with that data, it doesn't make sense because you're likely not paying attention to all of it, but your team is in the background, they're screenshotting all this stuff because like Neo said earlier, you don't just produce a dynamic webinar the first time. Now we're going to take this information and we see, everybody is saying this right here, this right here, this right here. Everybody is saying the equipment piece was what they needed. Maybe we give an equipment package away as a bonus next time.
Listen, if I was going to teach you how to make $1 million, would you give me 10,000? Like if I had a course teach you how to make $1 million a year positive, you're going to make $1 million, would you give me 10,000? Of course you would. It's no brainer, right? So in a calendar year, we make 7 figures with the podcast. But there's 21 things that I extracted from that you're going to need to launch a podcast. But I only got time to give you 3 right now. One is you need a distribution platform. The distribution platform is what you upload your podcast to. That platform sends it to Spotify, Apple, Google Play, so that your supporters can actually listen to your podcast. You're also going to need a microphone. You need a really good microphone so it's crispy audio. And 3, you need an income strategy. This is not necessarily a hobby, unless you're going to make it a hobby. But I can teach you how I made the 7 figures with these 21 things. Now, the good news is you don't have to give me 10,000. My ebook is only $37, okay? So listen, go to podcastebook.com. and get the 21 things that you need. And I can explain it in detail, all the things that you need, okay? Podcastebook.com. Let's get to the episode.
Now you've got a more dialed-in webinar.
Here, you got something?
No, I was agreeing to everything she just said. It's
okay.
Fine. I can
so
add
after that intro, like after the intro of kind of, do you relate to, like, as like you're getting people to relate?
I'm going right into testimonials.
You don't go into the information?
No, I'm going to give you 10. Hey, guys, so listen, one of the things I want to do is
after you're telling your story where people relate to you, then
I don't even get in my story. Listen, y'all, before we go here, listen, there's a lot of people online that's going to teach you some things that they've never done. I want to go ahead and show you that we're still doing this. And then I want to show you other people who are just like you. Oyenka, let me tell you about Oyenka. Married young lady, she's an accountant. She just last month she did $32,000 with her event space. Let me tell you about Tanisha. Tanisha's actually a mother, right? She's a mother, a wife, full-time teacher. 3 event spaces, made $1 million worth of event spaces, y'all. And while I'm doing that, every time I show you somebody, I need y'all to say congratulations, go crazy, because that's going to be you. This is your future.
Micro commitment. That's cool. But notice what Neo is doing.
That's cool.
It's still the connectivity piece.
Yeah.
He's just not telling his story because honestly,
not tell my story, but first, boom.
You're telling everybody else's story. Yep. And those are the stories that people are most interested in. We can talk about the years at the Cheesecake Factory and how I was broke with my daughter and how your dad was in prison. And we can talk about that. But people really want to hear the stories of success of people who look just like them.
Yeah.
And then Neo finishes it with, this is going to be you.
This going to be you. That's hard.
Here's the other hack if you want to add. You want to, see, man, this guy, he always got you.
I need
here's
to
another
know,
thing
man.
you want to add. It's very simple, but this is powerful. Is you want to be able to relate with every audience there is. So those individuals who I'm showing you a wife. I'm showing you somebody who's a full-time teacher.
So you're picking.
I'm showing you a single mother. I'm showing you a single father. I'm showing you somebody who's a teenager who did it. I'm showing you somebody who's a senior citizen who did it.
Everybody.
I'm showing you everybody. I can't do that. I'm too old. Check out Miss Gabby, 55-year-old in Philly, got her event space up. I can't do it. I'm too young. Check out the 18-year-old kid who did it. I'm a full-time. I work a full-time job and a single mother. Oh, check out whatchamacallit. She's a full-time teacher. She did it. So you need to pull a morning meetup. Everybody who's getting results, who from every. Moms, dads, single, divorce, like everybody. Yeah. Because now you want to remove, during your presentation is all about objection handling. You're trying to remove objections the entire time. Oh, I can't do this because such and such. I just showed you 10 people that could do it. So by the time I get done, you just literally saw before each of my steps, I share 3 more testimonies. So before I get into every step, it's 3 more testimonials. And I'm letting everybody understand.
Hold on. You said you talk about testimonials before every like practical step?
Yeah, 3 more people. Because I'm trying to put in your mind that this is going to be you. I need you to really understand that. Like oftentimes you don't believe you probably didn't believe you could be a multimillionaire until you met several of them. Yeah. Like most of us don't believe we could do anything till you got to see somebody do it. I'm like,
that's the truth.
Everything that I am and everything I do, I saw someone else do it. I'm like, wait, you could do this?
Yeah.
And it's up then.
Yo, don't let that go over people's heads.
Yeah.
Because we're not doing anything. None of us are doing anything that we didn't see somebody else do first.
That's a fact.
We're doing
nothing new under the sun.
Something that we saw somebody else do first. I don't care how inventive you are. There is nothing new under the sun.
That's a fact. You just put your sauce on it, make it better, optimize
Innovative.
it. Yeah, optimize it, make it better.
You're all right, actually. Innovative.
On the college.
How long podcasting been out? Just side note.
20 years, when we started,
Got it.
So it's been a minute. Joe Rogan, he been podcasting for 12 years before he got that deal.
That's what I'm saying.
So I want you to understand that while innovative is the word, inventive is too. Okay.
All right.
Here, I'm sorry.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Why does Shan's try to challenge me on this grammar?
Okay.
But no,
anyway.
seriously, we're not doing anything any different than something that we had to. And that's why it's so important to tell your story. That's why it's so important to share testimonials. That's why it's so important to identify what the important pieces of your story actually is.
Yep.
Right? Because I hear so many people make the mistake. They'll get on these webinars and they start talking about their college roommate and how they used to eat ramen noodles, and that's really not an important part. Like, the pieces of your story, trim the fat. The pieces of your story that are going to make you money are the pieces of the story that are relevant to your audience.
And I guess that's why it takes a year of doing them back to back to back to back to back. So
yeah, because you got to see what people are responding to. You ever thought something was going to hit an outfit or a punchline or something, a nugget that you dropped and you thought the room is going to go crazy? Yeah. Your Instagram post.
You be like, I know this up.
This about to go crazy.
Fizzle out. Bob. Right. Nothing.
Right.
But you got to keep putting stuff out to understand what your audience will resonate with. Everybody doesn't think the way that you do, but typically when you're doing something from a personal brand perspective, while everybody doesn't think the way that you think, most of the people who you're serving have been in a part of a journey that that identifies with a part of yours.
Yep. Okay. I like this is good, right? This is good. Okay. So we got the intro. We understand the psychology. How much teaching are we doing?
So I feel like, why every time we on this, you like, that's how you did the challenge. This dude unlocks the whole.
He getting $100,000 worth of coaching every time.
I do it for my friends in my audience, okay? But somebody said something to me, like, I think I did one time. I did, like, it was a Launch Your Podcast Challenge. And I forgot who said it. Somebody said, I think you taught too much. Not from the perspective of you should like hold back the game, but it's like you're telling people to do too many steps and they're going to get lost. Mm-hmm. So I want to know, just give me that conversation on how much teaching of like step, do this, and this.
And that's what I want to do, because a lot of you going to be one of my partners will build out the whole webinar for you, do all of that, set up the emails, everything. Got to have a couple dollars. Just DM me a webinar on Instagram.
How much is that? Is it a percentage or is it just a?
It's both, but it's right though.
Bad boy, Neil.
Yeah. Listen though.
You're bad boy.
Listen though. Peep this. So.
Deflection at its finest.
No, because in a minute he gonna say, "Yo, let me give me some money or something like that." This guy, man. Anyway,
if y'all sign up, let Neil know we need an affiliate.
Yeah,
go for it.
So, I think it's relative, because what Russell says like with the 3 steps, like pretty much you're not really teaching. It's never the what. It's the
how. It's the why.
It's the why. Now, I'm gonna be honest, man. For the culture, they want to learn something, man. Like I don't feel I gotta go. I'm giving some sauce on my, because I want you to leave. Because what you not understanding with a webinar, you're doing more. You got to really understand the objective. It's a few things you're doing. You're doing community building first off. You building trust. Some people got to come see that thing 3-4 times before they say yes, right? They picking up new gems each time. So basically what I'm saying is you got to decide how much teaching you want to do. But when I get to my steps, I want to make sure there's a solid 1 and 2 gems that you can go do something with, whether you take action on my offer or not. Right. You can at least go get started with
But not
this.
10.
Not 10, no.
No.
And I give a nice amount on my, like in my steps, I'm giving you about 2 to 3 things every step. Like I'm giving you enough where I feel confident but I also feel like I could be over teaching too, where I'm like, yo, you give them so much where they're like, I can go try this on their own. So the idea is that throughout the presentation, most people have tried this on their own and most of them always fail. Mm-hmm. So you need to be talking about the reasons why, yes, I'm giving you the game to do this on your own, but don't. That's what most people do. They go try to think they could figure out this on their own, and then they go sign a lease. And they don't add the first right of refusal. They go sign a lease, and they sign a lease on a residential building when it needs to be commercial. Like so many people come join my stuff after they already messed up because they thought they could go do it without me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So 3 words.
And you're saying that in the webinar. Okay, gotcha.
3 words changed, I don't want to say my life, but it changed my conversions. I'll say that whenever I do webinars and challenges, and that's valuable but incomplete. So you want to give a tremendous amount of value, but it's incomplete. Just like Neo said, I am going to teach you the difference between event spaces that maybe are zoned for commercial or residential and commercial, but based on your vision for it, you may need to only consider this, but you don't know that, and I'm not going to give you that on this webinar. You got to buy my program for that. You got to join the community for that. I am going to teach you the 5 different avenues or lanes that you can go down to start your coaching business, right? And I'm going to give you some general systems that you need, but specifically for you, what you need specifically for that lane, you got to join my community for that. But
you can't
give you, but so it's always valuable, but always often incomplete, right? So I usually try to give you like 1 or 2 things that you can take it and run with this. So I will tell you all the systems that I use in my business. There was a version of Donni that if I got on somebody's webinar and you just told me all the systems you use in your business, I feel like I got everything that I need. Highly valuable, and for a certain type of mindset could be complete, right?
For most people, I believe.
But how do you set that system up? How do you create automations? How do you monitor billing? How do you set up campaigns? And, incomplete. I can't give you all of that on the webinar. That's the part that you have to join the community for.
Gotcha. All right. So I think we got a good portion. I think everything but the close. I would like to know the psychology behind the close. How do we get people to pull out their credit card and pay us?
Well, I want to talk about, because I go look at people's webinars, specifically people in my mastermind, and I want to talk about just maybe Donni go deeper in the close. She's a closer.
Neo, you are
Neo
a closer,
is a closer too.
I'm a closer. I know that.
100%.
Yeah. I'm gonna close you on something. You know what I'm saying?
You buying something to? Don't mess around and get me on the phone.
Yeah. You gonna buy something. It's in your best interest to buy though. You should. I think. I forgot one of our mentors say something, but you should be legally you should feel morally obligated to help them buy what you have, because their life is going to get better if they use the information.
Yep.
But the biggest mistake that I see, man, is lack of confidence. When it's time to get to the close, they just fizzle down. Like the energy that they had, it just doom.
That's right.
And then you're like that too. Yeah, like I'm talking about you and up, you killing them. Then it's just $9.97. All right, guys, so let's hop in Q&A. You just spend an hour, 2 hours doing all the other things right.
Yeah.
You get to the close, people are spending 5 to 10 minutes on the close. Like you literally well, the price is this. All right, cool, guys, let's go ahead and hop in the Q&A. It's over with. And you may mention it one more. That's probably 50, 60% of people, because one, they're afraid. They don't want to seem salesy. And what happens is they're not making money. So a few things is you need to spend more time on closing. You need to come up with, you should have, and this is just things that help people. You should have 30 to 50 stories in your back pocket that you could keep talking about. I literally could right now give you 30 to 50 people right now who got their event space. I give you 30, 50 people who I help make 6 or 7 figures, and I could say their name. I could say what they do. So you need to go ahead and build a database of stories in your mind that's going to assist you with closing. So you could talk about, you can't hammer them, bye, but closing also is stories. Who have you helped? Right? Like who have you served? Another way to close is you need to have like slogans. Like for me, is like, how are you willing to stay poor? Like some of y'all poor here. And I'm not talking about you're really poor. Poor mean passing over opportunity repeatedly. How many times you been on a workshop like this for free? You keep showing up and you trying to piece all this thing together for free, and you know you need to take action today. Now, like how long? Like you need to take action when? Now stands for no opportunity wasted. I got hundreds of them right here in my brain. So, but this helped when I did the workshop every week for 2 years.
For sure.
I'm selling for an hour to an hour and a half.
So an hour and a half.
You don't have to.
Just
most
on
people,
the let's
can't
go
do
there.
that.
Let's talk about
average
that.
person. Give them 15 minutes, and that will help them. I go on there, and they go on there.
Hello.
Yeah, you're selling from hello.
I'm talking about.
But after I drop the price, you're going to see me for another hour. After I drop the price. You're going to see most people for 5 more minutes.
That's exactly the face you be making on your webinar, on your challenges, for sure.
It's hurting them right now.
But I'm excited about going through this process. That's why I really want to learn it so much, because I want to be more confident. So I want to be able to sell for an hour and not feel sleazy.
Yeah, that's why you do it in a way. You do your stories. You weave in a student success interview. What I used to do, no one does this. I still do this. I bring in people live.
Yep.
I bring 2 to 3 people live every workshop. Yo, come tell them what's some things you got done. So I just brought my man Mark in, and it's even better for me. He was in his event space. Hey, y'all, this is actually my second event space. I mean, I just got it. It was decked out. Then I brought 2 other people and I helped. So that's 30 minutes by itself. Yep. So after you drop the price, they're really thinking about how can they get in right now? Like, should I really do this? And you never know what is the reason why they're saying yes. It could have been that single mother who hopped on there and said, yo, the morning meetup helped me make an extra $5,000 a month. I didn't know how I was going to make it anymore. Now I'm making that, and I'm able to send my kid to daycare. I'm making, I don't know the concept, but the idea is you don't know what's going to help. So for sales at the end, student testimonials, it's you stories of people you help. That's not necessarily them coming in live. It's you talking about the offer, the payoff, like what it's all about. Like I kind of do webinars now in my challenge format. I'm not you get this, you get this, you get. That's how a webinar goes. You get this, you get that. I'm still leveraging the payoff. Like what's really in this for you in the long term?
So you're not doing the little value stack joint.
I don't.
This is this value. This is this value.
Because Donni says something key is sales start from the time that you're doing it.
Yeah.
Most people don't start their sales process until they get to that point.
Yeah.
Soon as you're in the mind, it's a sales process from the very beginning. So I don't gotta go as you get this, you get this, you get this like I used to do. That thing is still effective. You can do that. But for me, I don't have to do that.
An hour closing.
It don't got to be that long.
In your mind, like I would say a minimum of 30 minutes.
At least.
A minimum of 30 minutes. Because in your mind, you believe that closing is, yeah, guys, and you're going to get this Facebook group and everybody meets up in different cities. And that's not what you should be doing. You should be talking, you have enough testimonials where, like Neo said, you're talking about Javon who went out and did this, and Brittany who went out and did that, and whoever who's gone out and done something, and all of the connections. And, you know, we've got such and such who's leading a meeting, leading a chapter in Atlanta. Such and such is leading a chapter in Miami. You're talking about those things. For people who don't have testimonials, then you're talking about the results that you were able to get in your own life. This is how things have changed for me. Let me tell you a story about how X, Y, and Z. You're not just saying you get the Facebook group and you're going to get text access and a Slack group, and nobody cares about that. You are making them, when you're closing, you are making it so that it's a no-brainer. I have to have this. You are problem solving in the close. You are overcoming their objections. You are thinking through what they're saying. So look, I know there's somebody who's saying, man, 8 a.m. every single day, Monday through Friday, like I have to be at work at 9 a.m. I don't know if I can commit to that. You're telling them what you would tell somebody. Well, typically, what are you doing during that time? You're getting dressed, you're blah, 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 blah. You know, you just throw your earphones on. What better way to start your day than throwing in your Bluetooth and this, that? You're overcoming objections in real time. And you're even asking people, you can literally say, all right. Oh, you're also, part of closing is shouting out the people who joined. So as soon as, that's a huge part of closing. As soon as you join, make sure you let me know so we can shout you out. We can shout you out.
And Donni, you got to use your box now.
Yep. You got to use your sound. This is a thing
you don't got that.
Invested in. You don't have access to it.
What you mean?
Yeah, you don't got that.
We'll tell you about it later. But you got to make
it now.
It's just a sound machine that congratulates people.
Where do you get it from?
You see it when we get it.
Yeah,
and
why don't y'all want to tell my audience where y'all got it from?
Because
we don't have it yet.
And we also we are affiliate link ready for that? Yeah. So because I know we gonna move them joints.
We gonna move them for sure.
Yeah. We are.
You have to, part of closing.
Yes, we are.
Part of closing is making a big deal about the people who made a decision to get started. And not only shouting them out, you can even say, hey, Brittany, you just joined. Go ahead and pull up your camera. Are you on video? Let's get on video. Brittany, what was your deciding factor? What was it for you today that said, let me go ahead, like I must have this? And you're framing it for Brittany, what was it? Not what made you join. No, Brittany, what was it today that was the changing factor for you to say, I got to do this. I must have this.
And
now.
This is when they're signing up, like at the end of it.
This is during the end. Yeah, absolutely.
Gotcha. I got to say something real quick because this is going to go over a lot of people's heads. A lot of people are going to watch this episode, Donni, Chance. I'm telling you, it happens to me all the time. Well, I didn't really hear nothing that I'm doing all of those. Well, somebody will be like, I'm doing all of those things. Or when you are doing these things, I'm telling y'all, like Annick said, it's one small change that can just be a big. Donni just says something that most people aren't going to do. That one, she just literally added for you 20 more minutes to your closing sequence. 100%. But most people not going to even apply that. Yo, unmute, bring them up. What made you do it? 5 people. She going to say, matter of fact, yo, I'm flat broke right now. I'm going in on my last right now because I'm tired of being broke.
And that might be the best close, better than you closing for some people.
That is better.
But then what's gonna happen is you're gonna say, all right, so for the rest of y'all, I gave you away. I gave you a solution 30 minutes ago, but we're still here. For the 5,000 people that we still have on this webinar, I'm curious, drop it in the chat for me. Why are you still here and you haven't enrolled in the program? Right? And somebody's going to say, because I don't have the money to do it. All right, Bob, you don't have the money to do it? Let me get you on camera real quick. Let me, Bob, so when you say you don't have the money, just kind of explain.
Let's go.
Explain it to me, right? Explain it to me. Well, I just showed you Brittany, right? Brittany literally just said that she didn't have the money. She's down to her last, but she knew that she needed this information because if she didn't invest in this, then what? And this time next year, she'd still be in the same situation. Bob, how long have you been in a situation where you don't have any money? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but how long have you been in that situation? And I like to ask people for permission. If I call you up because you have an objection, now, Bob, do I have your permission to figure this out with you in front of all these people? Because we're going to get to the bottom of it, right? And it may not feel good. Do I have your permission to do that?
That's lit.
She added that. So, and let me give you this one too. So,
all right, close somebody.
And now I doubt she would mind because this before she got started, she in my mastermind, like one of my Sonia, the student loan doctor. Y'all need student loans. Go holler at her. She gonna get y'all right.
Not if you need student loans. If you want to
get rid of them, she gonna get y'all. Not if you need them. She gonna help you get rid of them joints.
I got you, Sonia. Don't worry.
Yeah, right. But Sonia, and she tell this story. She came to me, I don't know how many years, maybe 6-7 years ago, right? She took one of his classes. I think maybe overdrafted. She said, like, yo, I spent my last to be here. She'll tell you her story, how she went from broke to prospering. But I break that down. I talk about how she did that. Then I talk about how she joined the next thing. I talk about how she in my mastermind. I talk about how now she got all of these properties. She got a Lamborghini truck. Like she living her dream, but she started. So now you need to do a comparison on maybe somebody that people know. You know the student loan doctor. Oh, wait, you tell me she started there and now she's here? It's another powerful thing is like when you showing somebody that people know that they Sonya go crazy now. Multiple 7-figure earner, but she decided to commit. Somebody in the chat write commit.
That's a micro commitment.
Who's
right
committed?
There. Somebody write commit.
You got to commit to the process.
This is hard.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this not only in this good. Yeah. This not only in just this is in every like you got to start selling is the lifeblood of your business, and people think it. They get mad when people sell. Like, yo, they hate when you sell. Somebody on here is going to hate that we're talking about sales right now. Aaron, why yo Your business don't operate without sales.
Yeah.
Right.
You are employed by somebody that have to make sales in order to keep you employed. Mm-hmm. You better start figuring out how you can get good at selling something.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about that is, I have two things to say real quick. When people are afraid of sales, like, understand that everything in your life that has produced a result, brought you joy, has been a transaction. Every single thing, from the house that you live in, the car that you drive, the clothes that you wear, your babies, this is all a result of a transaction. Life is transactional. They were absolutely a transaction. Okay? Absolutely a transaction. But the other thing is, when closing, as you're pre-framing to go in to the offer, you ask people, now tell me, drop a yes, drop your biggest takeaway in the chat. What'd you get from this today? What'd you get from this today? Is this something that you needed? Now, I gave you a whole bunch of stories about a whole lot of people who came through the morning meetup, and this is exactly the environment that they needed to get to their next level of success. I'm curious, what do you need for your next level of success? Drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. What do you need? What do you need right now that you believe is your missing link to the next level of success? And they dropping it in the chat. They're dropping it in the chat. And all you do is read it back to them. Because 9 times out of 10, if they've been listening to you, everything that they need is what you're offering. Man, I just need an accountability partner. Oh, I'm glad you said that. Mm-hmm. In Morning Meetup, we got 1,000 different accountability partners for you to choose from. In fact, we have membership chapters in different cities of accountability partners. Oh, you said that you need somebody who is going to help you stay in alignment with your goals, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you said that you need to read more books. Well, we have a book club in Morning Meetup. Like, you're literally using what they say back at them, against them. How do you argue? You telling me what you need. I'm giving you exactly what you said you need. How do you object to that?
I love it.
And I want to say this because a lot of people go, if you go into a webinar, they're going to sell you something.
Period.
Because I don't want somebody, they're going to sell you something. Mm-hmm. And it's probably in your best interest to take it.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Because I don't want people like, well, you said you come on my workshop, I'm going to sell you something. And it's going to help you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, the important thing to understand is you're going to get exactly what we said you came for in the webinar. If I said I'm going to give you 3 steps to X, Y, and Z, you're going to get those 3 steps to X, Y, and Z. But you should be fired up, so fired up after getting that X, Y, and Z that you have to go to the next level. It's like, what's next? Your webinar should lead them to a point where they're in their mind like, what's next? The webinar is about to be over. It's been 2 hours. I know he's about to end it. What's next? I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
Now I'm about to sell you the what's next. Period. And you have to understand. Oh,
so I'm sorry. You're asking, what do you need before you go into the close?
You can, yeah, absolutely. Like as I'm getting ready to go kind of into, because the whole time I'm closing, from the time I start, I'm closing. I'm calling out your objections. I am telling you what your fears are. I'm telling you the problems too. That
You're a professional. She ain't no joke.
Yeah, I'm selling the whole time, but there does come a time where you have to transition from pre-frame into your hard close. Like, it needs to be clear. Mm-hmm. There's no more information.
Yep.
I am selling you something now.
Yeah.
So
and the transition got to be nice.
There's a transition, and one of my favorite transitions is, all right, so what do you need? What's next for you? Tell me what you need to get to your next level. Tell me what you need to take action right now. And they're dropping it. You know what, you guys, y'all make this so easy for me. And I say that y'all make this so easy for me because I am what you need next. I have what you need next. All of this that I'm seeing in the chat, you need this, you need that, you need I'm about to tell you how you can get what you need next. It's my responsibility to share with you your next step. Say I'm ready to take it. Drop it in the chat if you're ready to take it. Drop it in the chat. All right, bet. Let's get it. This is what we got.
I love it.
And another one is, right, like when Donnie's saying that, you want to get them to say yes and I'm ready about 3 to 5 times before you, like, in that transition.
Yes, and I'm ready.
Yeah, like y'all, like, how many people truly enjoyed this workshop today? Like, how many people know, like, I need whatever it is that you have? Like, if that's, like, you don't even care what it costs. You like, I'm all in on this. Somebody write, I'm all in on this. Like, yo, who's ready to hear? Matter of fact, who want to be first to hear this opportunity?
Before you give the number.
Before, like you building that excitement, chat going, you got 5,000 people in there, chat, you can't see that, John. Going crazy. And you should have somebody in there on your team. Make sure at the end you save the chat, but somebody should be screenshotting that good stuff that is telling you what they need, that is telling you how to, and another quick hack that you should do is where did they find you from? I always ask where did people find me from, right? In this comments, y'all, YouTube, where did you find me from?
And why is that important?
Because now you go, if they all told me they found me on Social Proof, how do I go get back on Social Proof? If they all told me they found me on EYL, how do I get on EYL? So wherever they tell me they found me at, I want to do more of that thing.
That's good.
So you need to go find out, I heard Dave on the Breakfast Club. All right, cool. So we know that worked. Heard him on. Where are they hearing you from? And then you just getting the inventory of that.
Where'd y'all find me at? Instagram.
And the question is this though, because that's too vague. Specifically, tell me.
Friend of yours.
Yeah, that's the question. I need to know y'all specifically. Where did you find me? And the best people to also ask this to is everybody who just joined the morning meetup. You need to go put up a post today. Hell, where did you specifically find or hear about me from? Right. But this right after they already made that investment, because they're going to tell you and they're like, oh, now you analyzing. Oh, I heard you on this shout out page on this. When they say I found you on Instagram, where? Was it a page? Was it a person? I'm getting that deep because one of these pages I used to run, we was selling a whole lot and we were paying them $15 for Instagram posts. And I'm telling you, every workshop, it was 3 to 5 people saying, so guess what I did? I increased. I said, yo, on Sundays, post me 3 times on Sunday, post me 3 times on Saturday, $15 each. So I was paying $50 a day, but I knew it was going to equate to 5 sales. At the time, just said that was $1,000. So I knew I was paying them $150 that would equate to potentially 5 sales every time. You double down on what's working.
I like this.
The data, like my biggest mistake in doing a workshop in 2 years, bro, is we didn't optimize it. We was just running it up. But if we optimized it, added all this extra stuff, like we just did, Donni, we just added the 2-week sequence now afterwards now. I'm like, man, it's in the small things.
Last question. What's that?
So like that, most people when their workshop is done, like when they're done doing themselves for their 5 minutes, it's over with.
They might send out one email.
Yeah, maybe one email,
They're
but no.
Send a replay.
Yeah. You gonna get emails for the next 2 weeks about it. And then when you're done with
the offer.
Yeah, different ways.
Several different ways.
So I just did the encore. That worked.
Okay.
So good. We're going to do an encore. Boop. That just show a replay. Guess what? We're going to do a student success.
Encore?
Encore is another word for a replay. But instead, what you're going to do is I went on there. What's up, guys? Sending it out. We're going to do an encore tonight at 8 p.m. Everybody. So I go in there live first. What's up, y'all? Congrats. Happy that y'all here. Y'all ready for this game? I know y'all missed it the other night, but we about to get back into it. I'm about to go in and play this, and y'all going to enjoy it. Play.
Press play.
Oh, playing the webinar.
So you're gathering them together for what feels like another live experience.
And you have a VA inside the chat.
And so you get on and you're live for the first 5 minutes. What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Who was here? Who was here last night? Who was here last week? Who was here?
Are you wearing the same clothes?
No.
No, because they know it. You're not. This is not a sneak attack like you acting like this. Hey, y'all about to watch the replay.
Yeah, press play. And then you have people in there that are answering the new question, because those people who are in there are going to have excitement too. They're going to have questions and comments and feedback. You need to have a VA in there, somebody who knows how to handle those objections, answering those questions. And you let that do it for you. But then there's also things like, so you send that out to a group of people. You may even you may take a segment of your replay, and if you're using something like Webinar Jam that tells you how long somebody has been on the webinar, you may see, oh, they were on there for 30 minutes right before I got to the pitch, right? So you may say, hey, you may send another video out or an email that says, hey, I saw that you were on the webinar last night. You stayed for about 30 minutes, but you didn't hear the best part. And you might just cut down to the best part. Here's where you need to start. We took the liberty of condensing down what you've already seen. Just press play. This is where you need to start.
Oh, so maybe you're cutting out that first intro of my story and all that kind of stuff.
Then you have people who click the link. You saw that they clicked the link and they didn't buy, and you go straight to the pitch. You say, hey, I see you clicked the link. You were thinking about it. Did something happen? Maybe we need to refresh your memory. You condense the video down to where you started on the pitch.
Oh, and you can Webinar Jam allow you to isolate those people that just saw this particular part, but got off before the pitch, and you'd be able to send that straight to just that list.
And we about to start promoting Webinar Fuel too. He gonna give us a link for that.
Okay, not a event
because it's better. Well, they was bragging on that. I don't know. I personally know Anthony Morrison, so
Webinar Fuel is like Webinar Jam,
but better. See, I personally.
I don't use Webinar Jam.
I stopped doing Webinar Jam, bro.
I just bought Webinar Jam.
The reason why I stopped at the time is, I just met the owner, so no shade. I know you're working on getting it right. You know what I'm saying?
It's too glitchy.
Yeah, bro. And it's like you spend 10, 20,000 on traffic, and you go on that thing is glitching. You got to hit the eject button. People, man, it's just I like Zoom because of the reliability, but you don't have the features. But with the new thing we got all the new features. Basically, software.
It's a software. We'll share it with you. Yeah. I don't know the name of it. It's a Go box.
No, he said, can he use it? The software.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I told you about it. I sent you a picture of it.
He probably want to spend the money though.
But no, so Webinar
Jam. The money you owe me, then I'll be fine.
Webinar Jam has the ability to be the one-stop shop that you need. However, from my experience, it's like a 50-50 chance that it's going to work for you throughout your whole. Yes, it will glitch. People can't hear you. They don't see the slides. Like they'll see you the moment you start playing your slides. Everything goes dead. You'll get on their side. It'll keep saying press something to reconnect.
It's delayed by about
delayed.
Comment yes if you're ready.
And you're feeling no energy.
Yeah.
It affects you because you don't see the yeses for like
then 30 seconds later.
Yes.
Wait, what y'all saying yes to now?
Yes. So then you end up having to, at the last minute, create a new link and send everybody to Zoom or YouTube. And the problem with that is only about 30% of those people are going to go to another platform. And anybody who was late is going to miss that announcement altogether. And then secondly, because you are trying to come up with a solution at the last minute, you're bringing them to a solution where you get zero metrics. We know nothing from YouTube, nothing from Zoom.
Hold on real quick. Hey, fellas, Neo and Donni said Webinar Jam is trash and it's glitchy. Are we still using it? Just want to put that in there.
Okay, so anyway, but we kept hearing about a event, the letter A event, and then Neo is saying Webinar Fuel. So I know that I'm testing out a event this week. I have a client that's already set up to go through that, and I'm interested in Webinar Fuel as well.
And Fuel is better though from what I'm understanding for Evergreen.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's the other thing. There are going to be some platforms that are great for Evergreen, and I don't think that there's usually. I think Webinar Jam is even decent for Evergreen.
Yeah.
But your live broadcast.
It's called EverWebinar.
Your live broadcast. You want to make sure that you isolate as many issues as possible. I don't care how many people use it. I just saw Marcus Barney about a month or two ago. He had like 5,000 people on the webinar and they're all excited. I hopped on because he kept getting on saying, y'all, I'm sorry. Like he had to keep putting up Instagram posts like, I'm so sorry, and change the day altogether because they were just having too many tech issues.
But you kill your momentum. And then he started running it right to YouTube. He like, man, I got to make sure this thing works with StreamYard.
So then you're sacrificing the data though. Now all your back end won't work the same.
Exactly. Yeah, it's tough.
Look at Shans. Like it sounds good.
And it also, Donni, like the more complex you get with it, like, we running these cameras and all, like, do all these cameras, it might even be more of a problem.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I got the high power office in the home. You add on, it's just too much bandwidth. You got to be plugged up to the Ethernet, too. Yeah, that's another hack.
Hardwired in.
Hardwired in.
All right. All right, yeah. So I think we've got enough. Do we got enough, guys?
The thing is,
this dude do us every time. Yeah,
that's not even. That ain't even like the sauciest of the sauce. You know what I mean?
I got some heat.
Come next time. To be continued. Part 2. Keep watching Social Brew Podcast. Now,
did you want to talk about the album? Not the. You want to talk about how influencers can't make sales? Did you want to talk about it?
We were supposed to talk about that.
We're like
out of time.
90 minutes in. Okay, Drew asleep.
It don't be feeling like we be.
It's crazy. I mean, he was not.
Drew, were we not dope enough for you today?
Yeah.
He was out here, bro. Fix your posture a little bit at least.
Sit up straight. What's going on? No, stay comfortable, Drew. Stay
comfortable. We're 98. Next time, we'll make sure we get into that.
I feel like, yo, I really want to know, like, they say our episodes are the best. I ain't gonna hold you. I don't feel like when I'm on some podcast, like, I was like, yo, when is this thing over with?
Yeah.
Facts.
I feel like we went 90 minutes. This is a movie.
Yeah, for sure.
We just did and it don't feel, I don't feel, and maybe I'm being biased because I'm in it, but I feel like I can go another hour right now. I don't feel like
the best podcast in the world. Yeah,
I agree. Best podcast in the world. Yeah.
I agree.
Clap it up, studio audience, for that.
Yeah. And the energy of the studio. Okay, let's get maybe like 1 or 2 questions. How about that? We got the little mic. Is it working?
This one right here.
We're good?
You got one too, Joe?
Joe got his own mic. He brought his own mic.
Joe got his own mic.
All right, hold on 1 second. Let Reese get together. Let's figure out which one. Oh, it's not on.
So give her that one.
Yeah. All right, cool. All right, so we ready? We good, Reese? Say something. Something. You guys keep into the mic. Okay. Yeah. Cool. All right, there we go.
Okay, so Donni, you talked about calling out the objections and identifying the fears on a webinar. Before we get to the point of a webinar, because I'm not there yet, how else can I call out the objections or figure out what the objections and the fears are of the people who don't purchase from me?
Ask them.
So how do I know that they had potential to purchase but didn't?
So So you have different points of contact during your purchase process. So if somebody is directly reaching out to you in your DMs and you're kind of facilitating a conversation there and you notice after a couple of days they didn't buy, you go back and you follow up with them. And if they say, oh, well, not right now. Oh, no problem. May I ask you why? Like, what's preventing you from making a purchase? Also on your actual website, this is why it's so important to have what I like to call layered funnels, right? Most of your funnels look like, here's my offer, here's the checkout page, the end. You're not collecting opt-ins, right? And knowing who's actually clicking the checkout page. You have no idea who clicked your checkout page because there's no opt-in. Then there's not a step that they need to take on the actual checkout page. So there's a couple of things that, you know, you can do. If you have an opt-in, you can say, hey, you took a peek, blah, 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 blah. Does this look like a solution for you? Does this look like something you need right now? Some people are going to answer you, some people are not. The people who answer you, those are the ones that you're using to start your data reports and figure out why people are or are not purchasing from you. But it's going to be a lot of you doing the tough work. You can also on your social media page put up a poll. Have you ever been interested in purchasing from me, but you haven't? Can you do me a favor and help me out? Share one reason why you may not have done it, right? For you, it's probably a very impulsive purchase by the time I already know what it is for you. People are usually wanting to order because they got a closing coming up and the turnaround time is too long, right? So then it's like, oh, well, I don't need it because by the time she gets it to me, my closing will have happened. I'll order it later. And they don't think about you again until they have another closing. And then what happens again? Turnaround time is way too long. So now you have to figure out, how do I solve that problem?
Well, let me just when you say a closing, right? What are you giving somebody? Like, I know what that sign looks like, but you're not giving, what are you giving them?
It's a key sign.
Okay, and what do the key signs say?
Sold by whatever their name is, or whatever they want it to
say. Show them one.
How long it take to make?
My processing time is 8 weeks, but it takes, I can get them done within 1 week, but the processing time is 8 weeks because of the amount of orders that come in.
You selling a lot of them?
I sell a good bit for it to just be me making them.
You hand make them?
I do.
Okay, can somebody else hand make them for you?
Somebody else could.
Okay, well, you need to figure out what that is immediately. Yeah. You know Kiana Watson?
I do.
You give her one yet?
I haven't.
Yeah, you need to give her one because she plugged in with
for sure
millions of realtors. Yeah. So what you need to do, you need to go give her one for free, hook her up. She may, and even see how much it costs to promote it. But I would start with the free one. And because she got access to thousands of realtors, influenced thousands of realtors. And I mean, and your next step is, one, I will find the most influential realtors, do that same process with them, as well as brokerage owners sold by this brokerage, because they got access to all the realtors.
That's her page. Like the little key joint. Brittany Michelle Artist, right?
Brittany Michelle, the artist.
Brittany Michelle, the artist. You change your name?
Brittany Michelle, the artist. But Brittany Michelle Design Studios has like all the key images on it.
Yeah. So I would do that. Yeah, this takes some time. How much is this?
$250.
$250. So this takes some time. And the second thing I would do would be is you got to find somebody else that can make them. And just raise the price $50 to $75. So
yeah, because it comes down to most times people in your position at your level of business, in your mind, you've convinced yourself that you can't afford to hire somebody yet. And you need all that money. But then you have to ask yourself, how many deals am I missing because I can't produce a finished product for 8 weeks? So do I pay somebody $15 an hour to help me out? Or do I just keep missing $250 every time? And the answer is always going to be to hire somebody to help you produce, right? And right now, you're building such a dangerous business model because it's only you who knows how to do it. What if you sprain your finger?
Right. I thought about that.
You go on vacation. You do whatever. Now your orders are behind. You've already invested in inventory. Now you got people canceling orders, talking trash about you, and it produces a bigger problem. Yeah. So you need to get somebody in there helping you ASAP.
No, or get a man.
What you mean get a man?
I'm just saying, production gonna slow down. Let somebody get her and start whining and dining her.
Wait, you said get one or don't?
Get one. It's gonna slow down.
Don't pay him any attention.
Stay focused on your business.
8 weeks gonna go to 12 weeks. No, we going out this week.
Yeah,
this
but
social proof.
I would be putting one in Denise the broker's hand, Kiana Watson's hand, and then there's Kiara. The realtor, I think it's her page.
That's all I would do.
I would just put them in all three of their hands. And I would, because Kiana likes to like dress in different colors and match her clients. What are your most worn colors? Okay. She matches everything. I'll give her a white, a black, and a pink. What you want, Kiana? I'll give you 3 of them. It is worth it for me to give you $1,000 worth of my inventory to post this one time. And I know that you have like 30 realtors just in your office who are going to want to do what you do because you are the model of success to them. 30 times that $250 that you get, what's that number?
A lot.
It's a lot, right? We just do it.
And there's going to be more because she's going to charge $50 more.
Yeah, you're going to charge. So if you're doing now 30 times the $300, that's $9,000. It cost you $1,000 that you had to put into getting those in Kiana's hands. Even if she charges you another $1,000 to promote, that's $2,000 for you to make $9,000.
Or more, Kiana. Or more. Not whatever you charge to post.
I'm just talking about in her office or more. Right? But that's I don't know that I wouldn't. We know what your issue is. It's not the price. We know that it's turnaround time. That's your number one objection. The end. Now, how do I, 1, get more exposure while 2, reducing my turnaround time? That's your area of focus for the next 12 months.
I also believe that what I just saw is priced pretty cheap. That looked very nice, extensive how she's doing it.
Yeah, it's almost, her process is almost like how DSD does his floors. That acrylic laying on the floor.
You're selling art too.
Yeah. Yes,
this appreciates
art.
In time.
You talking good? Yeah. Talking good.
I'm selling you art.
And I'm gonna give you authenticated paper that this is official. It's artwork.
You're gonna be certified like a Benz.
Yo, that little paper that you laminate will put an extra $150 on the price. That's crazy.
Because imagine when you become this big artist. I got this dude who painted my event space, bro. Hand painted the map on there. He up right now. I'm talking about he did Madden, the cover of Madden, cover of 2K.
That's crazy.
I'm talking about he going, and I got that painting he did for now. I can't take it off the wall, but I got a mural that he hand painted 100 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know how to appreciate, but I'm just saying, like,
now you know next time
when you go
we'll get somebody to put that on the canvas and mount it instead, right?
Yeah.
But also, we haven't even talked about affiliates. Like, you go to a Kiana, you don't want her to just talk about it. You want to say, this is another way for your office to pay his bills. This is another way for your office to make money. Every single agent that comes through you, that $50 price increase that we talked about, you give that to her. You give that to her. And so now she's got 100 agents who are purchasing a month just because she's got a university of thousands of agents. 100 agents purchasing a month. That's another, what, $5,000 for her? That covers her office. Probably covers.
Notes?
I am.
You getting this?
I am.
You getting some sauce right now. Morning meetup. What is this worth? Right?
This is the morning meetup.
No, this ain't no morning meetup. This is a mastermind right now.
This is a whole coaching opportunity. Okay.
I love it. Listen, man, this is awesome. Hey.
Well, wait.
This is what we had. We had one more.
I just got one more question. Do y'all have any affiliate programs that y'all would recommend?
We just gave you one. Start with what we told you.
You
mean to track it?
To
track it.
Yeah.
Thrive Cart, check that out. It's a few options.
Yeah, Thrive Cart, Sam Cart. You used Kajabi, but you don't have a course, so that doesn't make sense for you.
Look into Thrive Cart.
Just Google affiliate programs that integrate with whatever web builder you have.
There we go.
They both of you.
Yeah, go for it.
Hold on.
You've been holding that joint for an hour and a half. Go ahead, you good. Go for it.
My question is, at what point in your entrepreneurial journey do you qualify to launch a webinar?
As soon as you know something. I mean, as soon as you know something. Now, qualify to launch a webinar and qualify to sell certain things are two totally different questions, right? So I don't know what you would think, Neo, but for me, you can do a webinar to teach something as soon as you have demonstrated that you know something and you've done a thing successfully. You can do a webinar at any time. What you sell, I think, depends on certain milestones that you've accomplished in your business. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I agree. I think a lot of people are like, well, I got to make all this money for me with my event spaces. Like, we consistently made $10,000 a month profit. And I'm like, man, we could show you how you were doing the same thing with eComplex. I'm like, and I did that for a couple years first. I'm like, wait, somebody said I could show this to people, and I started. So it's really about like that. Whenever you're proficient at that, I know I can't. I'm not telling you I'm gonna show you how to make $100,000 a month with event space. I'm showing you exactly what we do, how to make 3 to 10K profit per month. So long as you're able to, what Donni said, teach them that you got results on, you're good. But never go try to sell some stuff that they haven't done. That's when you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Good. You comfortable, bro?
Joe, you feel at home?
It's good.
Shout out to Joe Vaughn. Y'all been asking about Joe. Joe is in the studio.
Still single, or
you got a little boo now since you got, you know what I mean, more time on your hands? Little situation. It's complicated.
all right.
It's not complicated.
It's not complicated at all. It's a thing, though. Yes. There's something. Good.
We can't hear him on the mic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all
So
intimate, or never
here
mind.
you go.
Oh man!
Look, y'all,
Thank y'all so much for. Hey, listen, do yourself a favor, okay? You need to. We don't have a camera anywhere, but share this episode with your whole team. Share it with your friends, family. You might be able to connect with somebody and say, "Let's do a webinar together." I don't have this strength. I don't have this strength, but I do have this strength. You come together with 2 other people and y'all collaborate. Listen, I'm not a closer, but you are. We teach the same thing. We talk about the same thing. Let's just do it together, man, because I think this would be something very, very valuable to be able to run up the money in your business. So let's close it out with some sponsors. You're a sponsor today. Donnie's a sponsor. I'm a sponsor.
Yeah.
Let us know, like, what is this episode sponsored by, Neo?
Oh, that's sponsored by Neo. Couple of things I'll say. So first off, again, for those who are serious, this is one of my partners. You got to be serious. But if you do need that full webinar built out, everything from your slides to the presentation to the consultant to the coaching, I don't even got a site for it, but you could go ahead and DM me on Instagram, webinar system. Or you guys can go to mastermindwithneo.com. That's where you can learn about my mastermind with David Shanzes and so many other people that you guys know that's crushing it online. We break down everything on how you can really scale your business, whether through webinars, through challenges, through digital products. We break all of these things down so you literally can go out there and run that business up. So that's mastermindwithneo.com, N-E-O. That's for people who are serious, not curious. And for those who are like, yo, I just want to show love, support, go to myigcashbook.com. This book is responsible for thousands of people running up their brand, following and all of that. So those are a few things that we love for you to be able to get tapped in with. And just grateful to be here on Social Proof, the best podcast in the world. Y'all make sure y'all get tapped in with that, y'all.
My man.
Let's go. And go to startmyeventspace.com, y'all. Register for that workshop. Let's go.
There it is.
Yes. This episode is also brought to you by 6 Figure Accelerator, the dopest program for developing coaches, consultants, and course creators from scratch. So you have an idea, you want to teach people something that you know, but you don't know where to start. 6figureedu.com to get information there. And maybe you're an established service-based business. You already have an offer, you're making money, but you're not really sure how to connect more with your audience on social media. You don't know what to say to convert them from followers into buyers. I have a unique offer for you. It's called Post to Paid. We send you 3 text messages every single day. I'm talking about 7 days a week, excluding holidays. I tell you exactly what to say. All you need to do is have your picture or video ready, and it's just $37 a month. Just $37 a month. Text the words Post to Paid to 404-737-2767. And you can text me anyway if you just kind of want to be in the loop of the things that I share with my community often.
Should she double her price?
How much was it, Donni?
Absolutely. I should triple that price.
I mean,
$37 a month.
3 texts a day?
3 texts a day, 7 days a week.
How are you coming up with more texts? That's a lot of texts.
I tell them exactly. I give them the caption, exactly what they should say, how they should posture.
I'm signing up right now.
Yeah.
Right.
I tell you exactly what. And the cool thing is a lot of people have like their social media managers in there. So like if you can't find that full-time social media manager, maybe they can post for you, but they don't write the dopest captions. They put their social media manager in there to get inspiration for the captions, and it just works. It's dope. I keep it super inexpensive, and we'll talk about why in another episode.
Good. All right, listen, what's up, Trap? I just want to say thank you. Do me a favor. Listen, subscribe to the podcast on your podcast app, Apple Podcast app, Spotify app. Go iHeart, go subscribe. Also, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Also, send me a text message. I'd love to keep you updated on all the stuff that we're doing. So pretty much when I do things, they sell out, especially if it's a live event. But I send it to my text group first or the morning meetup. So 404-737-4935 and join the morning meetup today before the price goes up. TheMorningMeetup.com. We out of here. Peace.
Bye.